worth of saying so. I would just like to give a very big thank you to my Tier 5 channel members and patrons. Bob the Dragon, Data Magnet, Cat Crab Lobster, Duck Machine, Try Again 95, Estrella the Dreamer, Mesic, Fudic Joel, German Chemist, and Casper Arnholtz. Thank you again very much. Anyways, straight on to the story. The Care and Feeding of Humans, Part 3. Make sure your humans have bonded to you before you embark on your expedition. Fortunately, humans bond easily, and just being near them will cause them to bond with you. There are some that say that humans require gifts to bond, but we would refer you to the history of the expedition slush and what happened when the humans were given gifts. It's best just to make sure that they have fresh food and water and plenty of exercise, and that they can access you whenever they need to. Yearbook, Review of Ontological Species Studies, The Care and Feeding of Humans, Human Bonding. Published by Glass and Steel. The Care and Feeding of Humans, Translation Engine 3.14159. Nerif headed to the common room early, determined to secure the prime seating for herself and the 3 humans. When she arrived, the 3 were already there, eating some fruit and cutting it up with knives. They looked like, Nerif shivered with guilty excitement remembering the stories that she'd read, but they looked like pirates. Ah, here's our patron now, Nate said as Nerif stepped through the opening. Nerif walked up to their table and sat down. So, what's the scuttlebutt about this expedition? Nate asked. A Deathworld, right? That's why you hired 3 humans. You want the meanest, toughest, baddest creatures at your back to help you investigate a Deathworld. Zoe rolled her eyes. Stuff a sock in it, Nate, she said. You start spinning tales about humans and how they're filled with acid and can read people's minds or track you in the dark through sound alone, and you're going to regret it when they drop you on a planet with no backup. Nerif coughed. According to the Care and Feeding of Humans, the sound could indicate either a potentially life-threatening problem or a desire to speak. When the humans turned their face to her, she realized that she'd gotten the sound level right. Nate is at least partially correct. This is a Deathworld. We are here as the 2nd Expeditionary Force, the first one did only a scan from high orbit. The initial scan rate said at a 2 or a 3 on the Deathworld scale. Alan snorted. 3? That's nothing. Earth rate's like a 10. Heck, Australia alone is an 8. Hawaii is a 3, and that's a garden paradise. Nerif nodded, her feathers flat and solemn. We hope you are correct, Alan. However, even humans die in Hawaii, and we are less likely to survive a 3 without you to help us. The leader expedition will be here soon, Nerif continued. They will explain the details of the mission and how the first flyby was able to classify it as a Class 3. At that, Zoe grabbed more food, a complex cooked solid grain product, and tucked it in her leg pocket. As soon as they saw what Zoe was doing, Nate and Alan started hiding food too. Nerif's feathers rose with excitement. She'd heard of the phrase squirreling food away, and even seen a video of a squirrel, an earth rodent with fluffy tail and a lot of nervous energy, stuffing food into its cheeks. But she didn't really get the phrase until now. Admittedly, her earth friends were not stuffing the food into their mouths, but the actions of stuffing the food into various pockets reminded her strongly of the video of the squirrel. You say they, Zoe said, while tucking an unopened can into a bag that she had slung around her hips. The expedition is, Cree? Nerif nodded. Yes. Wait, Alan said. How did you know that? Zoe nodded at Nerif. She said they would come and tell us the details. I don't know all the races in the aggregate, but I know at least one that uses the plural pronoun for individuals. The Cree. Nate shook his head and poked Alan in the side. Pay up, partner, he said, and pulled a couple coins out of his pocket and slapped them on the table in front of Zoe. Alan slid his across the table like a small skater bug's. Nerif watched with interest as Zoe scooped up the coins and dropped them into a bag. Pleasure doing business with you, boys, she said, and swung her long legs out from under the table so that her back was against the table, just as the expedition leader and the other members of the expedition walked in. Narov stared, her feathers puffing up and then immediately back down, but she saw the humans hadn't been surprised at all. How did you know? Narov said quietly. Humans have really good hearing, Nate said, just as quietly. We can hear them walking down the hall. As a liaison officer, it was Narov's responsibility to introduce all members of the team to each other. Species were never mentioned, but she introduced each person with the special skills that they brought to the team. The team, as usual, will consist of one hand on the ground and one hand on the ship. As Narov introduced the hand that would stay on the ship, Zoe, Alan, and Nate, in that order, realized that it was pretty much everyone. The biologist, the climatologist, geologist, virologist, and 2 other ists were all staying on the ship. On the way team, there were 2 droids and... Alan is our first bodyguard. His special skill is being human. Nate is our second bodyguard. His special skill is being human. Zoe is our third bodyguard. Her special skill is being human and having survived 4 Death World explorations. Narov announced this last triumphantly. Being able to hire 3 humans, one with Zoe's skill set, was quite a coup. And she wanted to share the details of the transaction with the rest of the team. She left out the parts about Zoe's damage, because that made the deal seem, not bad exactly, but less impressive. Zoe coughed. It seems our hand is a little short. 6 are staying on board and 3 are going down to the surface. Oh no, Narov said earnestly. There are 6 of us. You 3, me and my 2 nesters. Oh, hello, Zoe said. You and your nesters are staying on board with everyone else. Give us an extra droid and we'll call it 6 on the away team. But, Zoe, Narov protested, we must go. I am the liaison officer, and as head of my nesters must come with me. Besides, Quarif is our shuttle pilot and Tarif is our chief. Zoe stood up and stormed from the room. If the doors of the ship could have been slammed shut, Narov was pretty sure that Zoe would have slammed them behind her. As it was, the door closed with a gentle hiss. Nate stood up. Don't worry about her temper, he said. You know us humans, we get angry, it blows over, she'll be fine by the time we land. Alan stood up too. Yeah, what he said, and we should, probably follow her and talk to her. Alan pulled at Nate's sleeve. See you tomorrow for breakfast. The 2 males followed Zoe out of the door as quickly as she had left, but not nearly the amount of anger that she had projected. Narif, the captain said, have you offended our humans? No, Narif said, worry making her feathers flat top and fluff out around her shoulders. I don't think so. I only showed them to their rooms. That was all. Narif thought about Zoe's strange reaction when Narif had shown off the bedroom. Surely Zoe hadn't been offended by that. Narif had asked, well, that first human, which one was it? They all look alike, do we? Said the captain. No, sir, Narif objected. They are very different. Alan is the palest and Zoe is the darkest, and Nate is right in the middle. But if there is only 2 of them, or 1, how do you know which one it is? Tiv asked. Tiv being a biologist, so the question was probably just academic. Well, Zoe is female. She's also the tallest. She's very tall for a human and comes up to almost my shoulder, Narif explained. Discuss this later, the captain interrupted. Right now, you have to fix this. We need these humans to be bonded to us before we make landfall. We're already stretching out the trip to a new planet for 2 weeks to give them time to bond with us. If we need more time, we'll need more supplies. Go find out what the issue is and fix it. You are the liaison officer. Narif bowed her head. Immediately, sir. She left the common area and touched her bracelet. Where is Zoe? The bracelet responded. and Nera followed the blue light that appeared before her. End of chapter. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed